You know what's a good idea? Instead of calling it Fish and Films, how about Fish and Frank? You cool
Fine with that? Yeah.
You positive?
It's cool.
All right, bro. What's up? What's happening? What's going on, folks? And welcome back to another episode of the Fish and Frank Movie Reviews. I'm Matt Fish Fischioni, and welcome to the one and the only talk show where we talk, review, and recommend movies. Thank you all for joining us for yet another episode. Guys, we have another guest here for today's episode, and not only is he my good friend, but a fellow citizen of my home state of New York City. Please welcome Frank Romero. Frank, welcome to Fish and Films.
It's great to be here, Fish.
Yes, absolutely. I got one question for you. What is your favorite movie of all time?
Favorite movie of all time? Definitely gonna say Goodfellas.
Really?
Yeah.
Any reason why?
My father showed me that movie first, and Martin Scorsese films are like really very like impactful in the way like I'm very creative with my things because I want to be a filmmaker one day.
Really?
So that is like a big impact on that, and like I love Robert De Niro.
Yes.
He's great in that movie too.
Absolutely. You know, it's funny enough, I've never actually seen Goodfellas, and hopefully somewhere in the future I can actually go see it for myself. But one more thing here before we start today's episode. You're friends with Glenn Morales, right?
Yeah.
So there's a rumor going around that he doesn't believe that Deadpool should be in the MCU. I mean, what do you have to say about that?
With the current Fox merger with Disney, it's gonna happen anyways. So I mean, Glenn can continue with his opinions, but it's gonna happen. He just has to deal with it. He'll be fine.
Well, as a matter of fact, Glenn, if you're watching this, you have to get your facts checked immediately. But anyways, we are not here to bash on our good friend. We are here to talk about movies. And the first thing that we're going to start off today is a movie that not only everyone has been talking about, but, well, a movie that has been scaring everyone, and that is Cats.
Are you going to try for a different life?
A new day has begun.
Yeah, no. I'm not ready to see this movie. Frank, what do you have to say about Cats?
I probably won't see it, but only for the simple fact that I've seen the musical before. It was like a student-ran production when I was younger, and I just didn't like it then. However, there's a very large cast, like a star-studded cast, so I feel like it'll do well. It's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah, and what really got me a little bit scared was the fact that the CGI was not the best at all. Like, at some particular movies when they release trailers, some of the CGI is not done. For instance, Spider-Man sometimes.
Yeah.
And with this, I don't know, there's something very off about it, but I'm still so excited to go see it because I saw Cats, the film, as a little kid, and hopefully the movie itself will be very good. But, Frank, I believe you have a movie you want to review for us today.
Oh, definitely. Top of is The Joker.
Arthur, I have some bad news for you.
I was just talking to my sister about this because she wants to see the movie, but she's not a superhero. Like, she doesn't like the superhero movies, which is understandable. She's not an action film person, but I explained to her that this is probably one of the best standalone films I've seen in a while, besides like Rogue One for Star Wars. It has great pacing for a standalone film that you would see, that you'd probably think, oh, is this going to be Batman and a bunch of like Gotham references? And it's not. It's its own standalone movie. I enjoyed it immensely, and hopefully I get to see it again.
Yeah, and it's funny enough, the most times that I've actually seen a movie in theaters was actually James Cameron's Avatar. And, you know, I never thought that that movie would go down on the top of my list of favorite movies. But after seeing Joker, I gotta tell you, this is not only my favorite comic book movie, but it's just my favorite movie, period. I mean, there's so much to this movie that you know, everyone has been talking about. And, you know, I feel like in the years to come, this movie is going to be considered a classic. I mean, where do I even begin? I mean, Joaquin Phoenix. If this man doesn't deserve to win the Oscar for Best Actor, I don't know who else will, because he was absolutely amazing. You know, he got nominated for 3 other Oscars and hasn't won any. I hope that this year around he wins it, because he was awesome playing Arthur Fleck. The cinematography, you know, I love cinematography. It's something where, you know, it makes you want to be a part of the film, you want to be a part of the character story, and it makes you feel like you're there with Arthur Fleck from beginning to end. And the music score, I never really pay attention to music score, but this one definitely played a part in the role, especially during the bathroom scene where he's dancing.
Yes.
I love that, especially, I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's a particular scene at the ending where the music is playing and it's like a big reveal, and it kind of defines, you know, who the Joker is. It was just absolutely amazing. Prior to the release, a lot of people has been worried that it might inspire some real life violence. What are your thoughts on that?
I think with that, it's more of, if you go into the movie knowing who the Joker is, you know he's a villain, and you know, like, the movie's basically not necessarily his origin story, but his origin story, you're not going to sympathize with the character that you know is basically not a good person. I feel like people, because of the one isolated incident that happened, that they assume that it would happen again. But shown, the movie's been in theaters for at least like a month or 2 now.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened. So I feel like that's fine. It's not going to necessarily be a problem if nothing has happened before it, if nothing has happened while the movie has been playing so far.
Yeah, it's actually funny because usually with villains, you don't necessarily side with the character, but I don't know, something about, you know, Arthur Fleck, you're on his side throughout the beginning of the end. I mean, sure, he does some pretty messed up stuff, but like, you're there with him. And, you know, after the movie, it kind of made me questioning, you know, DC movies and Marvel, because after seeing this movie, I realized it completely changed my mind on how I view comic book movies. Like, I would rather go see a movie like Joker than what Marvel has been presenting for us for the last decade, especially, you know, Avengers Endgame. Because when it comes to like originality and has to do with, you know, real life situations in terms of the condition that Arthur Fleck has, you know, it's something that needs to be looked upon.
When you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker? Send in the clowns.
So on a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate the Joker?
10 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, for me, I would have to also give the Joker a 10 out of 10. It is a movie that if you haven't seen before, you should definitely go check it out, because on that note, we are all out of time. Thank you all for joining us for today's episode. Until next time, I'm Matt Fiscioni, he's Frank Romero, and tune in for our next episode of the Fish and Frank's Movie Reviews. Woo!
Have it facing downwards. Like the mic facing down, like the mic part.
Hey, Luke, how about you just show me there, buddy? How do you do it?
Fish? No, other way, fish.